tell me what was the main thing for you that you retained from the last session. The main thing, what was it?
Constantly about the luxury experience, what is the luxury experience, difference between the guests.
Okay, so difference between the guests. What is the luxury experience? What is front of house? How many departments front of house touches? How is the expected service or the expected approach to a front of house work? Right? So, we're going to start from how the guest perceives us, how the guest approaches us, how the guest receives our information and the way he experiences his stay in a hotel. Okay, so usually a guest starts with a first impression, being recognized, and open questions. So these are things that we need to keep always in mind. So from the front of house perspective, we have to focus on giving a great first impression, confirming that the guest is special, so doing a great guest recognition, and then we're going to use the open questions to achieve all of this. You'll see how. So, word of mouth is a key lead to grow reputation and branding. So right now, the biggest focus of every manager is to tell you, focus on reviews, correct? So reviews. But what are reviews if not simple word of mouth with people that you don't know? So word of mouth, either via internet or personally, so you tell your friend, relative, and associated that the experience that you had in that place was amazing. So word of mouth is still the key marketing tool of every hotel. Anna, correctly? Daniela.
We were talking about the last time when we see our guests coming, so that we can recognize who is coming. To see, that is our feeling in my case. Who is the guest? How I'm going to be with the guest? It's related to something. I can see all of that in 80% of cases. When the guests coming, I will see what's going on and what will be with their guests. 20%, I made a mistake. Sometimes I think that it will be really, really problematic guest, but it was great, you know.
So, you're saying that the guest recognition is the actual action of recognizing the type of guest that I will have, and that you get it right 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this? This is guest recognition.
Yes.
Guest recognition is a whole process. Starts with a pre-arrival. So you have information from your guests many times, right? So you have information from the time they book. So maybe they're vegetarian, maybe they're Sicilian, maybe they have 3-4 children. So it's all about having most or the biggest amount of information before the guest gets in. So it doesn't only start when the guest walks in, it starts before. It starts from the moment the guest approaches in any way your facilities. Then there's the part that you said, it's correct, the check-in. So I check in, as the guest walks in, I acknowledge his presence, and I don't only assume what he is or what the problem will be. I don't presume, again, this is not a problem. I talk to him, I make him feel special, and I understand what are his needs. Then I focus on them, and I act on them. In-house, There is guest recognition in-house. As I told you the other time, the guest should always be recognized, should always be acknowledged. So, morning Mrs. Smith, good afternoon Mrs. Smith, how can I help you Mrs. Smith, and so on. Okay? Is your stay pleasant? Do you need something else? Always give that extra touch towards creating the butlering experience. So you are personal butler to this person. So he feels special. At the checkout, do the same process. We focus on how his experience with us was and how can I speed up that process. So in this phase, we're focusing on the guest in a 360-degree situation. And then we have the follow-up. In case we have or we manage to get an address, an email address of that guest or a phone number, why not get in touch with him again? His experience. What the guest needs are. We focused on that last time. We don't assume, we don't presume. We communicate. And how do you communicate with someone that you don't know? Because this is the tricky part of our business. How do we communicate? It's easy for me to communicate with Anna because I know her. She's been seeing me and talking to me for a year now. So she trusts me, she knows me, and I can tell her about my projects and ideas and my services because she knows me. So she knows what I'm able to do, or at least she thinks that she knows. But she's going to give me her attention. How do you get the attention from someone or the information you need from someone that you don't know? Here's something that in Montenegro almost no one does. How do you do it? This is phase 2. Phase 1. We are talking about a guest that you don't know. How do you communicate with a person that you don't know? How do you do it?
Everything starts from the person first. So then.
Sure. How that? What do you write in those emails?
Well, first of all, they ask for something to make an evaluation and send an offer.
How do you formulate an offer? How do you create an offer? Is it missing something in this mental process that you're doing? So you said the first thing that creates communication in the request of the guest, which is the first thing that you said, correct me if I'm wrong, is everything starts with the guest request. And then I formulate an offer. But there is something in between before me creating an offer from the guest request. We are talking about luxury experience. You're not giving me a luxury experience here. You're giving me a service that's honestly random. Because you're creating a proposition from your point of view, from the hotel point of view. The hotel checks availability, checks price, give you the offer. That's it. Is there something wrong in this? There is, and you know it. Something is missing. What is missing?
At the end of the check-in, right, with that part, at the end of the check-in, I told whoever gets the reception works from 7 in the morning to 11 at night. If you need something, we are here to help you anytime.
And you're onto something. You need to formulate this thought. How do you create communication? You do it with open-ended questions. The communication doesn't start from the guest. It starts from you. It's your job to make the guest talk about himself, to understand precisely what the guest needs. And the only thing you do it with, before you get to the formulation of the proposition or the proposal, is by knowing every single detail of what is expected from you. It's the only way. Am I correct, Jacopo? It's the only single way.
Is the hardest part.
Simply by applying this. And it's not simple because you need patience. You need to let the other people talk. You need to let them talk and you need to understand what they're saying. So communication doesn't start from the guest. It starts from you being willing to take your time to listen. Every single time. Then we will face them and I'll tell you what I will do and we will have laughs because we have some of these situations before. I remember once, I'm getting asking open-ended questions. There are so many problems you can avoid when you stay in your hotel, or her stay in their hotel, by simply applying open-ended questions. So, let's say something.
Psychologically, making open-ended question gives you so much power to a person. So this is like soft sell. It's human life. So the more people talk to you, the more you know them. The more you know them, less problem they will create you. How many people, when I started, I didn't know that at the end of the stay, I realized that they had some mental problems, taking pills, or her wife, husband was sick. God knows. So you never know if you are back to presuming. You never know what hides behind people. When you let them talk and you let them know each other, if they ask you back, it's good, but normally I guess won't ask you back. I mean, they don't care. They're just like children, you know. They want something, they want to be fed, and they want to be listened to. So it gives you an enormous boost of power, enormous knowledge.
What are your plans? Who is dining with you? How would you like to prepare the bedding of the room? This happened with the Germans. The Germans, even if they're husband and wives, they like twin beds, or if there's a king bed only, they like separate sheets.
It gives an enormous power. Because when you see your problem being put on paper, you start to calm down. This is like scientifically confirmed. I hate when I say, sorry, but a restaurant, table, I don't know, it's too far, can you take care of this, or can you do this? I say, yeah. No, it's not yeah. If you say, sorry, sir, would you like another reservation? But if you see them writing, it gives them a whole different impression on how you're resolving the problem. So it's like avoiding a trap, in a way, This is what our job is avoiding a trap. You can even write down the most curious thing. No, I'm not suggesting that, but still, you need to take notes. It gives a big impression, super impression on this.
And then they come and say, you just write.
Yeah, I just wrote it. You see, I took notes. And you sum it up. So we're getting back to the summarize. Otherwise, you gotta fake it.
It's all about how you convey the message, how you get information, and how you convey your emotions to the guests. That's all it is. It seems simple. That's not. But you need to focus on this every single day.
The beginner's mind. If we play the I know, we always end up with new problems coming. I'm sure that if I start working in your reception tomorrow, I will still be making some mistakes. Why? Because I might be biased, a conviction, conviction that I presume I know all better than you. And this will take me in a very bad place, and I will lose my beginner mind. I will lose the importance of wonder and awe. Is especially when you start doing some careers, is in your personal life, and is asking open questions to yourself. Because this helps you when you got time, when the guest will have time. Because there's another little thing that we haven't touched yet. What if the guest wants to talk to you? Especially Americans. Checking in, they want to spend 40 minutes telling their life, know your story, because they're curious. So and what you do here? Oh, you do this. Oh, you speak very good English. Oh, when you study English, and they haven't checked in yet. And you still have your manager, your colleagues like that. Man, you have like 5 other people in line. So, rush it up. So it's not easy to say, I apologize, sir, but, we'll talk about it later. No, you cannot tell them this way. But in a way, you need to lead them to this kind of thing. And this will start creating a relationship. But how do we deal with angry guests or rude guests that are just there maybe for business, getting a key and go, where is the Wi-Fi password? And that's it. But what if we have a talkative guest? I mean, me and Mario, we got so many pure relationship with guests, teaching us new things, or sharing books. Oh, you haven't seen that movie, or you need to see that movie, or you haven't been to that city, or you have to. It takes time. It takes time. But if you don't question everything in your mind, you will not get to the point. And I will make it even more cynical. Talk about money. If you never get to that point, you never get a relationship first, and then you will never get a recognition, a good feedback, a good review, and no tips. No tips. So it all gets back to, you cannot be pushy like, I don't know, like this guy is renting the boats to San Nicola Island, no? You walk on, not all of them, just happened randomly.
To give me a red cake, and you bring me a chocolate one, very precise. Write down correctly. It links back to take notes, summarize what the guest told you, be precise with that. Be cut down to the chase every time you can, so that you can be accurate when you deliver the product that you asked for you, which can be service, which can be an ear just for, I want to get something out of my chest, and you have to listen to them. It can be the cake, it can be flowers, it can be an engagement that they want to propose on top of their roof garden. It can be anything, but be precise. What if I want to propose to my girlfriend an engagement ring on top of your roof garden in the first line with sea view at 7 p.m. and you book the table at 8? Did you deliver? No. So be precise means write down the correct information, because most of the time you are not the one taking the final step.
And when you are accurate and taking notes of the 7 p.m. proposition table, then it comes to stage 2, keeping open line between departments. The other day, a friend of us, she moved here recently. She posted on her blog an experience. It was Canada. She posted this experience that she pre-booked in a restaurant the hotel of 𝐓𝐡𝐞 somewhere in Montenegro. Table and the cake, and check with the price and all that. When she moved there, so she arrived with her friends, said, okay, we got this, and that. And the restaurant said, who did you talk to? He said, I called the hotel. He said, okay, no, so you called with the reception, but they didn't tell us anything. End of experience. So, while the receptionist, sorry, I didn't mention, she said the reception or whoever I talked to was so attentive, she absorbed this and that, a cake, a better spot on the sea view, and all that. I got there, and I knew after 2 seconds that my experience there was over. I said, okay, all the reputation I was getting about this place has been destroyed. Why? There was no open line between departments. They didn't talk to each other. How many times? All of the time. Stop. Do not stand still. Yes, we can say many things about standing still. Is part of the body language as we touched before with Mario. You cannot look like an addicted on cocaine, but you cannot even stand like Frankenstein, like this, freezing by, I don't know, the terrible guest shouting at you.
I think that it's impossible in the front office not having something to do. It's a good point. It doesn't matter for the whole telephone. Do you agree with me that it's impossible for the front of house to have nothing to do? It's impossible. So you're here because you've been paid to work. So if there's no check-ins, if there's no check-outs, if you've done everything, check next reservations. Go with the guest recognition steps. Go and see what are the arrivals of next days, what requests are online on hold, check the maintenance. You have so many things to do at reception that it's impossible for you to stay like Frankenstein or Jacopo said. It's a hectic job, so it's impossible that you've done everything. Impossible. Impossible. There is no way in any hotel that you have nothing to do at the reception. You have emails to check, the phone is ringing, you have things that are way overdue that you need to do. So maybe just start by checking the next 3 days check-ins with arrivals and departures so that you can, start checking the bill. So arrange yourself. Room location, exactly. So see that everything is correct. You don't have 300 rooms, so it's impossible for you to stand still there or on your phone. It's impossible. You have things to do, you have to keep an eye on those things. It will help you the next day because you already know what's happening the next day, and you will see that at the end, when you make this process your own, your job will be so easy. And all these problems will be like, piece of cake. I can handle it. And the service will be a luxury service.